kakati nganda musajja yasoma
nze Tamale awono tugenda tuuka katono nnyo ku different political parties abazze naye enkola naye njagala tukubire torch ku njawulo eri kaluka na kabbiri abiri mu gumu
nti ekibalimu okutegeera election is a process.
True.
Is like a pregnancy, is like education. Yonebu egenda kufulumya ebigezo omwana we abadde tasoma kakati bikukikolebwa ekitya abataweerera abaana batatekayo requirements mu musooka ku ssomero. This is a process. Pregnancy mukazi we tomutwalangako ku antenatal clinic tomutwalangako ki ng'ovuma abasawo kakati election is a process. The problem ey'omu Uganda, we don't have politicians.
What do we have?
Opportunists.
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 Abantu nga maddaala kufuna bye baagala.
A politician.
Wow.
There are two types of politicians or political opponents. One is an itching opponent. An itching opponent starts elections the day the earlier one is declared. Atandikirawo okukola.
Akudda ku ground. Okay.
Yero bakalangirira. That is an itching opponent. Raila Odinga tabakiriza kwebaka. We don't have an itching opponent in Uganda.
Ever active.
Tebaliwo. These are assignment politicians who just come as scavengers to reap where they never planted.
Okay.
That's one. Two, what type of political parties do we have? We also have assignment political parties which emerge during elections opportunistically. Nitubeerayo, when you look at NRM, revolutionary political parties zirina ebintu ng'ebyo. One, they don't involve in the politicking all the time. That's why balabanga lutalo. Whenever you have elections, Museveni goes back to Luwero to launch his war. A revolutionary party does not engage in politics.
Buli tugera mukalu adde Luwero, he launches a war obaddayo kubabuuzaako. Hawone ekintu ekyo abantu beebuuza. Sokole katono nnyo. Abantu beebuuza. Nti President Museveni naddala bwe yaddayo Luwero, yaddayo Uganda. Yalazeeyo kwebaza.
Yagamba this is a war. Revolutionary political parties don't engage in politics all of the time. They consider it as a war. During yebotulaba abeeruweero bajja ne balwana. Bwe baamala okulwana ne bagamba nti abaagala amagye muliwa. Many people who fought on Luwero did not want to join the army. Both they were, you have to be recruited into the army. Tewamu bawandiika n'ojja. Waliwo eyali embeera eyamuyingiza amagye nga tagaagala. Second World War. Many of our fathers went back. The Okeros remained in the army. Bo baali bagaagala. Maybe nokuba recruiting nga baava mu magye. Kakati the Revolutionary Political Party yo kyekola okulonda bwe kuggwa National Task Force bagijjawo negenda ng'etubbye ne ssente zaffe n'edduka leediyo tezisasula naki
ekomawo ng'emyaka 5 giyiseewo
ng'abantu are we going to use ye again?
Secretariat bonna bonna basirika?
Yes.
Okay.
Kakati ate eno active political party yeebeerawo
ng'ekola ki?
You can have by-elections. Kyobola BNRM bagiwangula mu by-election kubanga after the elections dismantling ebintu byayo byonna negenda utaluwedde kakati mwabadde ku task force muddeyo gye mwava kuno muddeyo gye mwava
elections
andi nkubuulira nti very big point. You have a democracy which should need politicians but you don't have politicians.
So do we have democracy?
A politician is who gets his money survival by doing political work. Politics comes from a Greek word, politicking. You must be active all the time.
What made it dirty? Politics is a dirty game.
Politics is a dirty game depending on the dirtiness of a particular country. Bibakola buli omu abikola because we have scientific elections and crude rigging, scientific rigging and crude rigging. Kakati where you don't have ti abaana tebasomye mukazi wo tebamututte ku antenatal clinic, what comes next? Onenya basomesa?
Apana.
Ogenda kunonya bwe tunonyeza abasomesa ng'abaana bonna baagudde wetunenyeza abasawo nti eddwaliro tuliddemu tukuba abasawo nga abakazi bafuddewo 10 abazaala naye if the doctors can explain ti ono yalwayo they blame you, you take the blame yourself. Kakati ekyokubiri ti bapoliticians bawano tebatunuulira kati tubalina tebatunuulira ti is a process tikakati electoral commission teyina defense but look bannayuganda babasomesa nga bolaba omwana atasoma bitabo n'amanya nti bajja kumubbira tabagalinga
that it doesn't put in anything.
No. Kakati bano bajja ne baliducinga buli kintu to money. They don't bother. Jakwata sente bulubululu.
Politics nafuuka obwakabaasa.
Kati basoma.
Tebaddayo ku ground.
Tebaddayo tebakola ki?
Olowooza kuno tebikyuse.
Every war produces its generals.
Labayo muzeeyi Tamale kuno olowooza tebikyuse. Waliwo generation gyemanyi nti eri desperate for change. Ku luno babakubyemu torch.
For the last 7 years I've been engaged in war. Nabano ba mafia abajoza abavuka abajoga abantu bali tebanemeddwawo
6 years ngoli mu
yes because I'm an activist kakati bo bano opportunist abalowoleza mu sente ye mwana alowoleza mu kumubbira ebigezo tasoma nti look how do we plan elections in 1980 Obote yabawangula nga n'akalute kannaba. Why? Etteeka ly'ebyokulonda lyakolebwanga Muwanga yaliwo. Muwanga n'alonda akakiiko k'ebyokulonda naye nga tekali vetted by anybody. Tekali. Ne bateekamu etteeka mu election gundi ti interparty committee. Interparty committee, it had no binding resolutions. It was just kutuula butuuzi mwogere. None of the resolutions in 1980 that came from the interparty committee tebyakolebwako. Muwanga goes ahead n'ateekawo kye tuyita gerrymandering. Apache North, Apache East, Apache West, Apache North. Ewaabwe gye banaafuna obululu. 17 UPC MPs went through unopposed. Twaina constituency 26 nga Bugatta Busoga ne Buganda where DP expected to get votes zalinga constituency 5 era semwogere yeti yalowooza ako n'olunaku n'olumu nti basobola omuwangula so nga statistically bali abasajja baali bamaze okubala 17 MPs nti yatugamba mu 1980 kubali ku Consonant Square n'atugamba nti Dr. Byamugisha lawyer waffe tumaze omulagira agire banalifying akalulwa. The whole of West Nile region kuba bali baseeyo abantu abakikosi Maroon Gondi the Ombachi massacre tewali yokulonda. UPC nominated the people. There was no voting in West Nile. Two, Gondi etteka lyokulonda teryali clear. Tewaliwo presidential, but did not stand as a president. Two, tetwali mu parliamentary. When you analyze the statistics of that election 1980, ojja kukisanga nga DP got more votes than UPC. How could Obote come to power? Tetwali mu parliamentary, Obote never wanted to hear the word prime minister. Kyali kimuzaayo. Kakati ebyo byokka byali bimaze okuba DP ekigo. Even going to elections, ebyo byokka byali bimaze okukola ki?
Ogikuba.
But they continued saying, semwogerere last rally mu 1980 yagikuba kubayita ababiri. N'atugamba tusinkane mu State House enkya.
Ngamanya isemu.
Alinanye airport yajja kulinnya ennyonyi mangu. All of these ones, Muwanga sacked 17 DCs who were supposed to be returning officers on the eve of elections. Ebyo byali bimala. Njakalubi UPC yali ekoze eki era Muwanga mutunuli ono musajja wa electoral commission yabaka Paulo Muwanga. Ti Paulo Muwanga ye yadentinga okulonda ku Obote. Nti olwokuba a group had emerged at the DP headquarters nabaga nti mu morning nalaba Dr. Semwogerere ne Masiya Singobi bambadde amasuuti malungi accompanied by the British High Commission to Uganda going to Muwanga to get votes. Naye nga mu Kampala Central timwali kulonda.
You have always said in Justice Byabakama is denting President Museveni's vote.
Bamukwatirawo. DP used to announce victories tewaliwo mobile phones. Kakati bali wangudde batya.
Buli kyogera lwatu bulinaku nti.
Let us look at this election. Election, Mbabazi yagenda mu court. Mbabazi is a smart guy. Yafuna obulu butono nnyo. Naye Mbabazi kye yakola yagenda mu court n'ateekako brave face. The court ruled and gave you, if I had come with my book, 10 commandments. Baba 10 recommendations. Why 10? The 10 commandments. Ne baba gamba 2 years before the election, this election, implementing them. Ne bateka over minister bonna aba justice, including my friend Otafiri. Bazikolako. And the opposition was watching. Court directed, in fact, the judges were polite. What they said, unless you implement these 10 recommendations, elections in the future will not be fair.
Free and fair.
Yes. Meaning, nti akalulu kano kemuvuddemu Mbabazi yatta akalulu ka Museveni.
Aka 2016.
Abalamuzi baali baga nti kano kabadde kafu. Naye tetusobola kajjawo. Naye mu future, muteekewo bino bibiri.
What are some of those things?
Okitegeera nti boss Bobiwine was in parliament. Ab'opposition bonna baagala okwesimba kati I hear them talking noise, talking nonsense. Kansala bamuwa batya? Ennaku entono simanyi ng'atawuli ayina ekitundu kinene. Where were you? Where were you when these laws were being debated?
But I think it's an abnormal campaign, abnormal election.
When do you complain? May I complain straight away? This is unfair. Because if you had active politicians, they would be monitoring this weather forecast.
Mama, I think to a certain point they were right. Because what nominations is presidential candidates, they were nominated. But no local government members of parliament, they were nominating before. Now, yeah, campaigns, they were given about 65 days.
No gamba, never gamba. Creating constituencies. Who creates constituencies in Uganda?
It's the parliament.
The electoral commission creates constituencies.
Not the parliament?
Depending on a certain ratio that 50,000 people must be represented.
So, is it electoral commission or parliament?
Yes, electoral commission. Neiche baje kolera bana amagezi. Bategeka okulonda nominations nachi after the census. Ati kakati electoral commission egenda okujja nga census ekoze eki. They would work together. The census would correspond.
How come you go in national population census?
You can look for it. Kakati as a result, who created these constituencies? Nankabirwa nga atudde ne kokasi y'enaalema. All of the constituencies, the gerrymandering constituencies, were they created by electoral commission?
The 46 of them.
Ze baateekawo. Abalamuzi ne baga nti okulonda kwazo kuyita kulinda general election ate ne contradicting. Who created the constituencies?
Wamate bafuna babaka ba parliament.
N'abaali bagenda okwesimba mu constituencies because they are carving out constituencies, but you have an interest to stand in your constituency. You are not an immigrant that you will go there. It takes me at least 3 years to determine whether you will stand. Kwaba opposition yani ayogera nti who has powers nankabirwa yatuula ne banne olanya n'alaaja na constituency ye bagitememu ne baganda. Do you know nti constituency za Uganda waliwo ayina eggombolola ebbiri
nebeera constituency?
Oli agenda n'alwana ne bamukutulirako.
But bw'otunula ebizibu byonna ebigenda mu maaso mu ggwanga, at one point I'm forced to think nti
mwesiga kukoppa
ng'ovudde ne kwekyo muzeyi Tamale, tulina constitution erimu amadirisa etali mu madirisa, etali mu nzigi, etali mu bumonde.
When do you determine nti nja kwesimbawo? Okwera bukezi n'Obama. Is politics for gambling? Is it for gamblers? Politics is not for gamblers.
Anti byayonooneka kati afuuka politics owakabaasa.
Kakati you're telling me government batugamba political power is influence and advantage. The government has advantage and influence. It can order. the opposition can propose. But you look what the opposition, Bobiwine was in parliament, you can sympathize with these people who are not in parliament. Did he raise any of those issues? But Bobiwine yali na violence, but why not sente?
Katulabanya anaitawo.
Ati kakati kyenkubuulira, kakati the elections wezibalira. Even at this time of finishing, I can evaluate. One, kyemuyina wano kakati ebibatta biri ebyo naye ate nga byonna mukuba bbali. One, mitigating against the violence. Mitigating against the violence. When you look at the history of Uganda, you will find that's why I criticize this professors of psychology. This is what motivated me to take my 2 children to do psychology. Because our educated people, the professors, don't come to guide the society. A professor of psychology, yali badde yatunulira dda history ya Uganda n'atubuulira when did you have a violent election, what creates the violence in the Uganda society.
Anti Martin Luther King Jr. abyogerako n'agamba the world is suffering not because of the violent people but because of the silent of a few people.
Why did we have violence in 62 at the independence? The British would not accept a DP man to take a power. They made sure that elections were rigged in favor of Milton Obote. Era bw'otulya violence ya 1962, Kabaka yekka, a party that was supposed to be led by the Kabaka, committed a lot of atrocities against the Democratic Party. Why? They could only win, force the DPs into submission by violence. I have a summary which was made by Parliament in 1966, summarizing the violence Kabaka Yeka was making out to UPC and the DP, because UPC had gone out of the alliance by 1964. Creating arrangement yali egamba nti under the alliance Buganda would be a preserve of Kabaka Yeka. Then the people like Pamulu Muwanga, the Baganda said, if we leave Buganda to Kabaka Yeka, are we going to remain nominated members in order to come to parliament? They opposed the Obote. They were going to UPC Buganda to get to compete with the men. Gendo Rabe Samari. Why? The violence was state-inspired violence. The Kabaka Yeka people killed the people because they knew they were protected.
But you're telling
psychologist in Uganda, they will have 3 times when we have violence. One, state-inspired violence.
But you history about our elections in Uganda. Literally, Tamale.
Why is it that UPC
literally elections are supposed to mean okuba akalulu, okujaganya, okulonda omuntu ogwoyagala, but this time round bw'otunya history nga bw'omwogedde kiri nti akalulu, elections have turned out to be a vigil.
These are 2 issues.
Maziga na biwoobe. Why?
These are 2 issues. Bw'oba ng'oli coach n'oyagala omutabani wo ali mu ttiimu y'abaatemba temugoba. Elections must be between a willing winner and a willing loser. You congratulate yourselves.
But does it happen? Why is it not happening in Uganda?
The side is that the British don't want Ben Chiwanuka, the Democratic Party. Baleeta wano n'omusajja nga bamuyita Pierre Bulamu nga mubbi wa bululu purpose to rig elections. The British ne bagamba Ben Chiwanuka nti gwe gavumenti yo tejja kutegeka kulonda. Commonwealth rules don't. Where? Ne baddira ab'emmengo ne babagamba omutegeka okulonda. The chairman of Buganda Electoral Commission in 1961 was Abu Mayanja, a minister in the Mengo government.
Had the British China influence Mukaru, even up to date?
Returning officers, bali bami ba Kabaka. one of the factions. You have denied Bende to organize elections, but you are allowing Mengo to organize elections because you want. Buganda, Baganda, Munkaga, Mukumu Tebalonda.
Abangereza bachina influence mukalu kabili abili mugumu.
MPs, the British urged that since the Buganda Luchiko was going to be elected by universal suffrage, the 21 MPs in Buganda should be elected by the electoral college. Do it now. Abaganda nsambu bakube bakuti
8 days to voting.
Anti nkubulira
abazungu bachina influence
kibicho okola mupapa nnyo. You want to finish, even if we talk about violence, the sawaza fabili, it helps the people. Nkugambi, you quite 2 elements. It shifts from a fair election, it shifts from who wins takes power to a factor, an interest of a certain powerful group. Ukulonda ni kufa. Au kulonda kuafa. Toga nti abalonzi bebali abasiru. In fact, the law, ngabwe nzembagamba, do you know that in 1962, to go to court to challenge elections, you had to deposit 40 shillings.
Ngazachi.
Ogenda kuwaba mu court, nti bakubye obululu. Munkaga. Etteka lyali ligamba, omala kuteeka y'enuswana ng'ani azirina. Because the British pound at that time, yali ya shilingi 2. Era akeshingi 2 twakayitanga ka pound. Kakati election tezafa bannayuganda bali tebasobola kulonda. Given freedom, Ugandans would vote. Given circumstances, abangereza balina interests zaabwe. Kane tujja mu kinaana, what happened? The issue was, should Obote come back or not? DP was seen as a shield against Obote's return. Tewaliwo issue ndala. Era Kayira yagamba, omugenzi Kayira yali Namasuba addressing a rally. Naga nti if we want Obote to be charged for abolishing the kingdoms and demolishing the Rubiri, vote Semogere. Kayira was hunted down by people. He had to flee. Obote took charge. Nabaga nti Obote yajja n'emmotoka ze nga ziriko number plate. Uganda wants Obote. UWO. Obote took
Uganda
over.
wants Obote.
Yes.
Wow.
He took over immediately. Why the battle was reduced between Gundi. Obote akomawo, Obata akomawo. The British wanted Obote. Why? Obote in 1980, in spite of what they had done, bakola ebintu bibiri. The Commonwealth Secretariat sent a man called George Kanyehamba to meet DP leaders in Nairobi to talk about the possibility of extending elections. But Semogere looked at it as a burden. UPM was demanding election. Bakubanika katuni mu wikire topic. Nga Semogere ali ku set Obote yayisedda mu kkubo ddala naye Semogere ebicupa byonna biri mu luguudo. Semogere could not extend the elections. Why? It was a burden to him. Bali batta aba DP. Akalukali kawedde. Kakati bwe tujja mu 80 nekabeera reduced ku ekyo. Obululu buno bwonna obubaddewo. One of Museveni's achievements is that he was haunted by the past. Museveni nga tabba bululu. For the first time in 1980, the whole of Gundi, Honorable Second Java, Bajita Bukoto. Bukoto had one M.u.p. Send away. One M.u.p. 1980 up to 1989. Never baleta a clear formula, a year 50,000 to be represented in the parliament clearly, cutting across the whole country. Bukoto echikiriwa babaka Batan 5.
Secondary Bukoto Central.
5. This cut across. Why? NRM wanted democracy at that time. It wanted democracy.
Tamale, you're one of the people who have been in the Ugandan making. Njagalombole, your honest truth. Is Uganda democratic?
Yes.
Like it assumes?
But you see, even democracy, why? The problem is either we win or they lose. Whereas Bafani's Bamungereza, Bakole Fujo, or Bakole Fujo, Britain, Yakubido, Twin Express one. Whatever Congo Express, Bama in Yagarefita GB. Iran's in Bademba Gamba, John Miracle Museveni, as best the complaints that has been rigged out, the Ngandas who have won parliamentary seats go to parliament. tumuwa dialogue with the whole of villages abantu ba celebrating. Let me tell you, Ugandans don't mind about the presidency.
I need to ask you this personal question.
Ugandans in a monarchical society where people are used to kings, the question of longevity of a leader doesn't work as long as he delivers. Era abantu bakugamba fenna tunaba ba president naye bw'otandika okubba obululu bwa MPs, this is where the fire is going to come. Si bwa president.
Where's the difference?
I listen to them. I tell you Muzimba Wochinga. Yesterday I rang somebody. Nemugamba, you have received 33 million shillings on your phone. True or not? Yes. From where? Nemubulira. Nemugamba nti sente ezo bazikuwadde mugule amasimu amapya mukyuse amasimu amakadde mubbe obululu nti kubamba monitoring. Don't waste your time to buy new phone. Sigwe osinga abantu bonna benkubi misa ina technology w'amaanyi mugatugula amasimu sente zirye sente lyandi. Go and make sure that you convince the voters, but don't resort to cheating. The cheaters are not Museveni. In fact, the cheaters are going to spoil Museveni's room. Why? Baagala okuleeta abawagizi baabwe mu parliament to dominate the parliament by all costs.
In whose interest are the members of parliament, not the president?
Anti kakati kankubuulire election yeno naye eringa ya 62 eringa ya 80. Why? Nti balowooza this is the last lap of Museveni. Kakati mulimu group ey'abana abavubuka abajozi bennakuba jjo nga bategeka escape routes. Tulina okubeera ekisugu, tulina okukola bajja kubakwatira temujja kudduka. The best you should do, don't mess up with elections. N'ekisugu bajja bakwatirayo.
Are we really going to have a free and fair election?
Kakati make sure ti omubaka wa parliament kansala gwe bawangudde bamuwangula.
Akirize.
But
it doesn't happen. Tekibangawo wano mu Africa, not even in Uganda.
Let me tell you, ndaba bukedde. Museveni aleese omukambo mu Kampala. Museveni aleese omukambo mu Kampala. Let me tell you, there is no professional army that can turn against its citizens.
Awo tugenda tuka muzeyi. Nika nkuze wali katono nnyo nga tututa kumboza endala. Katono nnyo muzeyi Tamale. Olwaki omanyi lwaki nkubuuza whether Uganda is democratic. Tuliziganye muzeyi Tamale. Omanyi lwaki nkubuuza wa Uganda is democratic. I have a belief in democracy gwe tuyina akyali ku lupapula. If we call ourselves independent, katono nnyo.
Mumugamba temina
tuliziganye.
Nze njirina media freedom.
Tuliziganye.
Because I'm empowered.
Tuliziganye.
Ajjoke muyo omulenze bamubema mwaso omutwe. Yajjangako emwe. Ajijjeko kati bamubere mu hoteli babuwote.
Tuliziganye.
Akabala kali mu yosisi kajjeko emu.
Bwe tugamba nti Uganda yafuna independence mu 1962.
You see.
Ne batugamba abazungu nti if you want to attain democracy, you need to have periodic elections. Katono nnyo tuliziganye muzeyi Tamale.
Given a chance Trump abadajja kuvaako.
Tuliziganye katono nnyo. Amawanga gonna aga Africa agafugibwako ensi ez'enjawulo bwe baba obwetwaze buli nsi ya defining a democracy in their own setting.
Nkoleka bulesi kubanga goli mwana muto naye kankubuulire.
Anti
Ghana balya mmere. The Ghanaians have decided that our country must move. The Ghanaians have decided maybe what I can see
they defined their own setting. They woke up and defined their own setting.
Ghanaians and their leaders have accepted that the country must move.
It started way back vakululi ya Kwame Nkrumah. Na settinga Ghana how they want to govern themselves. Nefe bwe twafuna independence, we never took time to define how we should govern ourselves.
All of the constitutions of Uganda have excellent bills of rights. A Ugandan cannot be in a prison beyond these hours. Have you ever seen a constitution going visiting the prisons to release these people? A constitution remains a document unless the activists who can enforce it. A constitution is a marriage ring. Tewaliwo omuwala wa bukedde yayendera mu lodge nga n'empeta agirina. Empeta yakuba enduulu. So, democracy depends on the leaders. We have decided our country must develop. Whoever nga mujjemu ne anger. If I win, if this man wins, I have to go into exile. If this wins, I will not stay here. Nzikimpampagirya Museveni. Museveni does not pursue his enemies. Bobiwine will live here comfortably. Elections are here. Museveni abanya bagundi. Museveni does not believe in political assassinations. Nagamba Bobiwine.
Wewa ochali ku STV the sharp talk. Katoyongereyo ebibiina bya ebyenjawulo omuli FDC, omuli n.u.p, omuli NRM, National Resistant Movement bavuddeyo ne bagamba nti why bagenda kuteekawo tally centers zaabwe ez'enjawulo. Okay? Era wano twebuuza nti aba electoral commission kino kibalekawa.
Kyembuuza tiboogerera mu basiru. Let me tell you, is there a provision that if you are not satisfied with your n.u.p results, do you mark your exams? Laba omutwe. And maybe bingamba they should waste time debating rubbish.
How rubbish is it?
Yes. No intelligent person can do it. If you don't want the electoral commission, you don't trust it, reject it from day one.
Bandi baiti bagite bana mukamu kulonda.
But this man nze nababulirawo nembaga nti ayinyo Byabakama was DPP who prosecuted Kizza Besigye on a stupid case. It was just a holding case. Teri lawyer munsi neyasoma elementary law asobola okugamba you can charge somebody with rape after 2 years. What are the ingredients of rape? Ne DPP onyechokola oyo Byabakama natwala Bobiwine mukulu. Why didn't Besigye protest that this man shouldn't be the chairman of the electoral commission? They wanted to use this as a blackmail.
Ebyaddala.
Bamulekawo. Bolowooza nga n'amagezi mutwe nga Katonda bwe yampa amagezi nina logic. Would you expect Besigye to keep quiet if he is a former tormentor becomes a judge in a case where he is involved? I leave the public to judge it. Era abalasha bagera ne bafuna omusajja bamuyitanga Kotwaldham. Kotwaldham yali ava mu Australia nga yize nazi. Abalasha nga bamumanyi nti nazi is a former nazi man. Yattanga abantu mugundi. Bamuleka n'abeera secretary general wa UN. But every time nga bamubulakamairinga. Until the Americans realize Russia ifuna nnyo mu Security Council name General Assembly. Why? Because of this man. When this man retired and went back to Austria and stand as president, the Austrians rejected him. He was a Nazi. Kakati ffe tukimanyi they can keep quiet nenkuteekawo bweni nze baali twali tulwanyisa etteeka ly'abamawulire. Etteeka ly'abamawulire nafuna omukisa nga bonna abaali ku kakiiko ako maze ba investigating abalina fake papers abalina ki waliwo n'abalina bouncing checks nenzifuna kasa twagenda mu kakiiko ne batuula a man called Gasaatula humiliated us. Humiliated me. I've never seen an arrogant man, but he was a senior foot dropout, that a pilot. Every time he was talking about piloting a plane. Piloting a plane is a driving permit. A pilot is an exaggerated taxi driver. Akati Gasaatula yatugamba, to you people, you are like a birth attendant. But most of our mothers deliver by the assistance of birth attendants. But they are not qualified medical doctors. So, journalists who have experience without academic papers are like birth attendants. I've never been insulted in my life. Blood sagged. Nembagirayo bounced checks. Do you have the moral authority to talk arrogantly like this? Manye kyaddira mu kakiiko.
What happened?
Etteeka baaliyimiriza ne bagamba muddeyo mukole consultation.
Wabaabya.
Me, that's how I fought. Nobody has fought for freedom, media freedom like me. Wali mu Uganda one. I'm not an opportunist.
Nejuzi bali batukuba ng'ogamba okiyita occupation hazard.
Anti kyenkubuuza nti media council eva muki is a product of the 1995 Act. Ani yagiisa wafula ne banne ebakwatiddeyo ebanyweze learn in the future. I fought it, ekutte mwenze tenkwa.
Wewa, ensonga ya electoral commission. I need a clear observation on this.
Electoral commission, what is its role?
Electoral commission from time immemorial has been subjected to judgment. Hanga bagamba independence yayo bagitankana. So okuvayo ne bagamba agenda take out independent tally centers.
Is only a woman a man who is going to marry a woman, gwe batamusalira mwala bo bayina n'abaana. So you don't blame. Togamba naye ate fe Abaganda era tulina proverb nti gundi naye ate era tomunenya. How can a girl know babayita balwazi? Those who have tightened the bones. Kakati bwabatayendanga kamanya atya. So you must, that's why the Mugole must go with the Senga. In the case the girl fails, the Senga pays. In normal circumstances, used to be old women who are not attractive. But these days you change it. Kakati today, are you complaining about the Electoral Commission? Have you read the roles of the Electoral Commission?
Is to conduct a free and fair election.
Yes.
Its primary role.
And true. Do you know that it's not the final, it's not like a UNEP? Anybody who has agreed goes to court.
Judiciary is the final.
And the court has limited. We have a law that limits the time under which.
How credible is the Electoral Commission?
You cannot kill a hunger man because a hunger man has hanged your criminal father.
Do you know that you don't stick to your words at some point?
Yes.
Juzi wavayo ng'ogamba obakubamu ebituli.
Yes.
Ate kati obagamba they are responsible.
Tukole kikati. What should we do? Ekyatta omwami nakimanya lwakite wayogera. The time for talking to rectify whatever you are talking about now was there. The law establishing the Electoral Commission was debated by Parliament. The President proposed names which were vetted by Parliament. I don't know that any of their names was rejected. Constituencies were not created by Electoral Commission. They were gerrymandered by Nankabirwa and her team in favor of NRM. This man had even the audacity of crossing from his former constituency to another constituency, a minister. As Bikireno, Kubaba Agamba, there was a young man working in the State House, Nayagala Yesimbewo. Kakati bano abasajja bakulu abo ne batoola Erioda nono gundi ani ono Kanyomozi yabamuyitani yali Minister of Finance. Ne bagamba nti omwana tumublocking. In case this young man wins, Museveni is likely to appoint him a minister. Ne baganginga up. Erioda naveno nadde ne bakuba omwana. Constitution kabazabu bazikoze. Kakati nze nkugamba. I analyze a system, tukita systems analysis in political science. I analyze a system. Kakati as we stand today, the electoral law we are following was enacted, is a new law which merged the old election law and the Heresy Act that was governing, invoked to govern COVID-19. Kakati anyatali yo. Museveni is not Idi Amin who used to decrease. These are people who sit in parliament, debate their laws, and eventually, because people are gullible, are ignorant, you don't blame this election commission as we started today. Constituencies were gerrymandered as your eyes were wide open. Nankabiro nagenda mu caucus ne beetera ugundi zaabwe. Look what the constituencies, some constituencies in a gombola biri endala ziinemu, it only appears in the sentence of Babawa. Mutumbitegera.
So literally all these challenges are brought up by the parliament.
This is again mugundi wa mumwebi bya first. I will never work in a government job again. I help society more than when I'm in a government under control. Who can ring my number now? For 7 years nobody has rang my number. Where do I belong? Ndi wansi wa minister. If I'm an advisor, by your call advisors and whether he sees me attending their meetings, I'm empowered. That's why I'm popular. Nti kakati obuleminga kafero yayimba oluyimba n'agamba nti kati ogenda ganti Satan yakukema. Where did you meet Satan? Don't blame Satan.
So we shouldn't blame Electoral Commission for all these.
Electoral Commission has failed to tell the people, one, by the time we took over, all of these people are novices. The chairman of the Electoral Commission, apart from this incidental political career, Gund, Mupia, ono omukyala yekimuli bakiteekawo because we have to get to accommodate Muslims. Then we should have a military council formed of religious people, balokole, and Basiramu and what. Kakati Mukasa in a role. Two, they suffered another blow. The most experienced person on the electoral commission was Wakojo. Wakojo was sacked. The most experienced person on the that electoral commission was Talemu, was sacked. And no replacements were made. So nature nacho.
Anyway, you're one of the people.
Why should we have to train our people? Never for experience. I think the rule in the electoral commission would apply to civil service. When you clock the age of retirement, you retire, but don't disband the entire commission. What's the role? Look at this commission. Mali organized elections under COVID.
True.
South Korea organized elections under COVID. Tanzania organized Burundi. Elections under COVID. Burundi organized. Mwala bakawa sajja electoral commission yabo nga bagendayo to wakawa experience.
By no gendo consulting.
Yes. Abaana abawala bwe bagenda okufumbirwa bagendako ku mbaga z'abannaabwe ne balaba gawuni ez'omulembe.
Bwe nkula ng'oyogera bw'otyo olinga agamba there's somebody who is benefiting from this.
Mwenna era waliwo jjaji gwe nsinga okuwa ekitiibwa yawoza omusango, yasala omusango gwa Ziwa ne Naabagesera. Abakazi baali balondera mu electoral college. Kakati Ziwa n'akuŋŋanya abataali ba LC n'abateeka mu electoral college. Naabagesera n'agenda n'awaabo. Omulamuzi yamugamba this confusion would have benefited the two of you. If you had defeated Ziwa would have raised these issues. Why did you seek an injunction in the court to rectify the problem? Yaga Ziwa wangudde. Netufuna omulamuzi omulala Wambuzi was confronted by a case. Dr. Kayiro Mugenzi ne Semwogerere bawaaba mu court to nullify ogamba nti ule yagibwako mu bukyanga. Kibuliza Kirunda raised an issue te Wambuzi aguveemu omusango ali biased. Naye Wambuzi n'agasajja guvaamu. Basala omusango ne bagamba Lule yagibwako mu bukyanga. But the court does not have powers to reinstate him. Yes, a successful revolution is illegal. Omusajja wambi gavumenti abalamuzi bajja ne bamulayiza. Kakati, when do you complain? I always say, does it pay a parent to advise his daughter not to move with the bad boys after falling pregnant? Because the pregnant cannot be increased. Tikale, sigala kufeeze nesooka naye tebongerako yakubiri na yakusa. She would be this.
Nega kati muze Tamale. Let's speak realistic to get realities. Zino political parties ezataddewo talent centers zaabwe. What happens singa electoral commission
they should be raided and put in prison.
Ziri secretive. So what happens singa electoral commission releasing results that are contrary to their results? What happens then?
Me, I'm a realist.
I
believe in realism. I'm not a Katemba man.
You call this Katemba?
Basically, declared himself president of Uganda and
the people's government
ceremony. But the president was told earlier tebayigaba abasajja eri tumwine Tinyefunza and another group went, they fired the president and installed Mugabe. I remember headline in Nebukede Chahwa. Museveni said, if he is real Mugabe, let him move as Mugabe. I will arrest him. Did it work? In spite of the fact that these were generals, senior generals, and the fact the president directed the command of Umbalala to go and disperse that function. The command of Umbalala said, I cannot do it because of Tinyefunza and Eri Tumwine, they are my seniors. Museveni said, okay. Addressed a press conference and said, if Tinyefunza and Eri Tumwine really installed your Mugabe, let the Mugabe move. And he said, how can he install the Mugabe in the cemetery? Did it work? Basically, comes back because they don't learn from their stupid mistakes. Basically, declared himself president. The oath was conducted in a secret place. And he declared a people's government. But
is it working?
Did he get the tools of authority.
Hapana. Anyway, ebule naku ziri munana zokka okubanga electoral commission egenda organizing akalu abiri mugumu ranga wetwogerera eri mu one of the last stages of organizing akalu katonyo tuongere mzee Tamale wetwogerera electoral commission process jeriko yaba abalonzo kwenda okufuna voter slip zabwe wali omivuye je tolo down mu kufuna voter slip ranga mabega kawo electoral commission yagamba nti afuna okuwabwa okuva mu ministry by'obulamu nga districts 13 temugenda kubeera mu kulonda n'ekibuzo kyebuzibwa abalonzi
kati ekyo kijja kiddamu
kanzireyo eri wakyagala kuddamuze anti akadde
anti nze ne bwe nkola egundi emu I have a daily briefing on my platform a daily briefing those people must be raided and arrested.
But there is a democracy in this
proposal now, my even proposed tough proposal is that even in newspapers should not publish criminal results. That's rubbish.
Opinion polls.
Because they have been lining up their favorites in the Bukede and other newspapers.
But Mr. Tamachi, one thing you forgot to understand. What is rubbish to you can't be rubbish to everybody. Mr. Tamachi, that is so cold.
Yes. No. And you have a remedy to kitegede. Nti bano ba mafias bawambe popula za muntu bakana gishika no kakurubia. I was reading a story in the Monitor yesterday highlighting those who were killed in the riot. Are we seeing dead people for the first time? Where did the security attack a wedding? Was it a peaceful demonstration? No, a riot. That you see, Vision was talking about Museveni's deployment. Book at the deploying Abakambwe. New Vision Monitor was telling us that this can happen because of this. Were they found at a wedding? No. Kakati nama uli kuru tigafuruma.
And you call Uganda a democratic republic.
And we are fighting something dangerous. Yes, and you know, Ogundi, Murutalu, General Sansu Yakoga never passed a disparate army. These people have no interest, national interest to pursue. Me, Abaganda Baganti, Eliabo did Wakumusota. My mother survived the lynching. Why? Uganda riots. Let the Monitor tell us how many people died in Uganda riots. Why do you talk about this recent one?
The list of people that died on the 18th and 19th.
What about those who were killed at Kasubi when Museveni went to after the fire cutting in Masiri? Yes. What about those? What about those who died at Bulan? So this, you see, Ugandans have been dying in avoidable circumstances. So for me, I even call for tougher measures. What do we get? What the newspaper lose? If that newspaper does not come out the following day, in 1980, we came out, we published a story on falsehoods given it once by the DP people. Teba ina mobile phones, by sawa mnana bali batandise okulangirira. A paper ya feyamu no mu 1980 ya ino omutwe nti gundi UPC leaders to arms. Tetwagocha. We had to ban the newspapers. Muwanga yaleta ban. Nti ayogera ku byokulonda fine emitwala 5. Nemyezi mukago ba boss. Even Cardinal Nsubuga did not today. But Muwanga na yali mu panic. Muwanga was trying to solve a problem, but he was not understood. This one we must do it orderly, in an orderly manner. Let all of these newspapers don't come out announcing primarily confusing the people, because they will quote according to the tally.
Then what is the essence of having a tally center, a chamber?
Let us have all of the when the president is addressing a nation, all the 9 o'clock news, these radio stations, according to the law, are supposed to play music, not news. You can read the law that established these radio stations and TV stations.
Then there is no democracy.
TV and radio zone, but for never correspondence. We have a limit that anybody aggrieved has an alternative. You go to court. You go to court. In fact, when you read my book.
So you're calling for a total blackout of coverage?
To protect our country. Nabagamba. nti Saddam Hussein tricked the Americans, Bush. He mounted an artillery piece on top of a bunker that he had used to house children and women.
Tamale.
Abagundi, American war planes, niziwoza nti Saddam yekweseemu, niziweereza smart bomb, nejigala omulyango. Many children and women died. And this man, Saddam's trick worked very well. The public opinion in America turned against Bush. Do you know what Bush did? They targeted Al Jazeera. American war planes targeted Al Jazeera. It had become a war target. They killed even journalists inside Al Jazeera. Who controls Al Jazeera now is in American hands. They know how to protect their country.
Do you know what will happen?
Even if the Minister of Information,
you call for total blackout.
I call the newspapers. How much money do you make every day?
No,
I refund the money to protect this country. And they have already told you.
No. But let
me tell you. Do you think if the public wanted to know everything, why is it that a Senga goes with a white bed sheet mu kisenge ky'abagole? Abawestern bo baleetanga kinusu ekirimu ekituli nti muwala wa musimbeerera. Egundi Abaganda suuka n'akabuzi akatono manya nti omwana w'ombeerera. But you don't take the Kidala people inside the bedroom to know whether the function has taken place. The man has stood on the has fulfilled his obligations. When it comes to a country's security, I know. Look, you are exaggerating violence, you are doing what? But you tell me one thing. Have you seen anybody cutting it down somebody's pretensions because he's either the DP, is an opposition or a government opposition? Have you seen violence on the ground? People are moving normally. Ugandans don't resort to violence unless they are incited by their leaders or a foreign country. I always give you an example of one day.
I think you're talking about Ugandans over different generations
operating at a very short distance. In Uganda, when you see violence, it has been paid for.
Don't you think there is a generation?
The riot, I drove myself from Kampala, my village, for the first time. And I did not have escorts. What I saw, they were burning the new tires. Immediately I passed their roadblock at Chengera. Everywhere I was going, they were waving at me. In fact, I remember at Rukaya, I came out of my vehicle and we took selfies with the rioters. Where are you going? I said, I'm going to bring him. When I went to Nyendo, I entered the Nyendo, I found the police exchanging fire with the fire immediately ceased. I drove and we went home and I came back. Kakati kitegeezaaki. The violence, to mitigate against violence, don't incite violence. Allow the people, especially MPs, those ones, this a short man, a short person, wakoma wakwata. Abantu bano mu byalo mubawe freedom yaabwe. Beeronderwa baayirosizi baabwe, as Museveni has always done. Museveni's election has always been exonerated by the fact that people vote the people they want. But if we want to use the money, I hear them, I watch them. In Otafire's constituency, man has already arrived. In Rakai, in Chotera Kasolo's constituency, the first amount of money which was sent there was 400 million. These 200 went, and yesterday, 2 days ago, 30 million went on somebody's phone to buy new sets because Miso, they were suspecting that Miso infiltrates there. I told the man, don't waste your 3 million which is on your phone to buy new telephone sets. I have already infiltrated everywhere. Miso has infiltrated everywhere. And fortunately, the man had been advised by his financer that Museveni gave that madman sophisticated machines. When you see him talking about you, Museveni has instructed him to expose you. But for us, the big ones, he gives him the information and he keeps them. Kakati ebibi mulimu. Mugenda okuleta violence. Muleka abantu berondere ku level zaabwe bazina amazina gaabwe. Because for me, I don't even see why the president should struggle okuleta abenali mu parliament. Whenever there is a controversial bill, Nankabirwa demand is in money. Muzeike watugamba. These are political prostitutes. How can I give my wife money whenever I want Yakabozi? So whether you have them too.
From that point,
in politics, there's what we call cohabitation. Cohabitation means that the president can have an oppositionally dominated parliament. We call it habitation. How can these MPs refuse to implement policies that help the peasants? The peasants will rise against them.
Katugende mukumulamu katono naye bwe tukomawo tugenda komawo ne okuba torch mu kalulu akagenda okubanka kuba munaku ntono nnyo okubonaku olwaliro. Electoral Commission and other stakeholders abakeetoloddemu bo beetegese batya. Jjukira districts 13 temubaddemu kuwa campaign ng'ekibuuzo ekyebuuzibwa abo batakubidde campaign, are they going to make an informed decision or not? Ekyo ekibuuzo kye tukomawo nakyo. For now katukomewo.